I met a guy in, I don't remember how I met him. Oh, yes I do. I got 2 memory cells left, and one of them is swollen, the other one's leaking. It was the first rock and roll festival outdoors they ever had. It was near Seattle somewhere on some woman's ranch, south of Seattle. And that's where I met Rolling Thunder, who was a medicine man from Nevada. Originally he came from Oklahoma. He grew up in the hills of eastern Oklahoma, where Pretty Boy Floyd came from. And later on I got to visit him, not Pretty Boy Floyd, when I got to visit Rolling Thunder at his home, a little town in Nevada. I sang this song about Pretty Boy Floyd that was written by another Oklahoma citizen by the name of Woody Guthrie. And so subsequently, whenever I go by Rolling Thunder's house, he'd always ask me to sing a song. It's called the Ballad of Pretty Boy Floyd. If you gather round, we children, a story I will tell about Pretty Boy Floyd, an outlaw. Oklahoma knew him well. It was in town, Shawnee, Saturday afternoon, his wife beside him in his wagon. And into town they rode. There a deputy sheriff approached him in a manner rather rude, using vulgar words of language. And his wife, she overheard. Pretty boy grabbed a log chain. Deputy grabbed his gun, and in the fight that followed, he laid that deputy down. He fled to the hills and woodland to live a life of shame. Every crime in Oklahoma was added to his name. He took to the trees and timber on the Canadian River shore, and Pretty Boy found a welcome. Many a farmer's door. Yeah, there's a many a starving farmers. The same old story told how this outlaw paid the mortgage and saved their little home. In Oklahoma, wait a minute. Now there's a many starving farmers. Same old story told how this outlaw paid the mortgage and saved their little home. It was in Oklahoma City. Was on a Christmas day, there come a whole carload of groceries. there's a line in there somewhere.
Woo!
Now, as through this world I've rambled, I've seen lots of funny men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun, and some with a fountain pen. And as through your life you travel, and as through your life you roam, you won't never sleep, no outlaw, driving family from their home. That's all you have to know about morality. Yeah, Woody Guthrie said that. How long was another guy that said some pretty smart things? Henry David Thoreau. It was on a day like today, I think. Nice sunny day. And Thoreau was standing down by the shore of Walden Pond there, Massachusetts. And I was with a friend who knew the country well there, and I had been staying with him and his wife overnight somewhere near Boston, Massachusetts. And they took us out to visit Walden Pond, and he told me some stories about Walden Pond. And I know that Thoreau had a cabin there, and he did some pretty tall thinking while he was out there. And I think it was on a day like today that he said those wonderful words. And it was, I think it was a sunny day, and he was down there by the shore of Walden Pond with his dog Sam, it was a Labrador non-retriever, you know the type. He looked out on the water, there was no wind blowing, it was just calm like a mirror. And he picked up a stick and he threw it out there in the pond, and he was admiring how the ripples were radiating from the center of the pond and coming out and splashing on the beach. And he looked down at the dog, Sam. Sam knew what that look meant. And Sam smiled and he wagged his tail, and he jumped in the water and he swam out there in the middle of the pond, and he bit the stick, and then he smiled again and he turned around and he wagged his tail and he swam back to shore, came up alongside of Thoreau's starboard leg there, and he shook about 5 gallons of water on Thoreau's pant leg there, and I think it's then that he must have said those wonderful words, but he never wrote it down. I've looked through all of his writings, but I know he must have said it. What a time, what a beach, what a dog. I'm the only one who knows about this. I kind of heard the echo, you know, like when we were there on the shore. And Richard Farini was telling me some stories about falling asleep in the snow and other horror tales. But Thoreau never wrote it down. I don't know why he didn't write it down. Probably one of the hippest things he ever said. Along with, what are you doing out there? What was that? No. Thoreau was in jail, and it was Emerson. Yeah. Ralph Waldo Emerson went to visit Thoreau in jail. They put him in jail for writing something called civil disobedience, about protesting anything. What are you doing in there? And Thoreau said to Emerson, what are you doing out there? But I prefer what a time, what a beach, what a day. Back in the saddle again, out where a friend is a friend, where the longhorn cattle feed on the lowly Jimson weed. I'm back in the saddle again, riding the range once more. Toting my old 44, where you sleep out every night, and the only law is right. I'm back in the saddle again. Whoopie-tie-I-O, rocking to and fro, back in the saddle again. Whoopie-tie-I go my way, back in the saddle again. Gene Autry was the live singing star at the rodeo at Madison Square Garden. I was 9 years old and I saw him. My parents made the mistake of taking me to the rodeo there. Peter Lafarge, whose daddy wrote a book about the picture history of the American Indians. And Peter grew up on a ranch in Colorado and did some rodeoing for a while, and later went to acting school in Chicago and learned how to speak with a voice like a radio announcer, and had this deep voice and all that. Very dramatic. And he wrote, and he was in the Navy too. He was in an aircraft carrier in the Korean War. Oh, that's World War II, I think, in the Pacific. And had run through a flaming hangar deck and caught fire in the process, but it was the only way to get out of there was to go through the flames, and got pretty badly burned, but survived it. And then he wrote a song about the Marine that helped raise the flag on Iwo Jima, who was a Pima Indian from Arizona. Ira Hayes, he wrote that song about Ira Hayes. I never learned it, but I was with Peter when he wrote the song. Bob Dylan knows it. He memorized it. I'm not very good about memorizing stuff.
Bob's coming to town, right? Bob's coming to town somewhere around.
He's coming to town.
You have some pretty good conversations with Bob.
I had a long conversation with him about 5 years ago. He was playing somewhere in a theater in Oakland. I remember because I was sitting in an area where they put the guests, which was pretty far back in the theater, but it was comfortable as table and chairs. But I couldn't hear a dang word he said, so I had a backstage pass, so I just let myself in backstage, and I was hanging out by his sound man, his monitor guy. Bob, he's blind without his glasses, you know, and he's looking right at the monitor guy, and I'm standing right behind the monitor guy, but he don't recognize me because I'm not wearing his glasses. But I got to see him at the end of the show, and I said, "Good set, Bob." And he said something to me, a song that I used to like to sing or something. And we talked about that song a little bit. And, it was a song that about a friend of ours, a banjo picker in New Orleans, Billy Fair. He says, 912 Greens. I said, "Oh, Billy Fair is alive and well and owns a house in West Texas." And Bob says, "What do you know?" And he got back on the bus. And that was one of the longest conversations I had.
That's a mistake.
It was very meaningful. I'm going to ask Bob what he meant someday. He really is very honest about that. He doesn't know anything. And he frankly tells you when you ask him a question, "What about this?" And he says, "I don't know." He's just being honest. I admire his honesty. How he gets everything to rhyme, that's another trick. I don't know.
Blues. Play blues. Blues. Request blues.
Blues, yeah.
Yeah, because I like the way you do it.
Fantastic. I got the arthritis blues.
Okay. I don't have it, but
The
good.
reason I got the arthritis blues, but I got a pretty good case of arthritis myself. I got it from singing this song one time too many. It was written by a friend of Woody's in Topanga Canyon. He used to sing with Woody in a group. Before they had the Weavers, they had the Almanac Singers. This guy was, his name was Butch Hawes. He's not Butch Hawes the sound man. Butch Hawes is a very good sound man at Elko for the Cowboy Poetry Gathering. He lives in Colorado, raises mules. Went to the doctor looked sad. Well, he looked in his book and he told me what I had, and it's all kinds of trouble. Gonna find you somehow. Arthritis is a thing to miss. Leave you walking with a double twist, and it's all kinds of trouble. Gonna find you somehow. You can't stand up and you can't lay down. You can't sit in a chair. You can't roll on the ground. And it's all kinds of trouble. Gonna find you somehow. Chase it away with
with your sweet Applejack. You wake up in the morning, it's squatting on your back, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. Gin, rum, and whiskey will ease the pain. You wake up in the morning and it's right back again, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. If I live to be 43, you'll find me running like a Model T, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. Gin, rum, and whiskey will ease the pain. You wake up in the morning and it's right back again, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. If you get to heaven, tell the judge for me I've had 16 years of the 3rd degree, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. Arthritis is a thing to miss. It'll leave you walking with a double twist, and it's all kinds of trouble gonna find you somehow. Woo! Butch's wife used to sing in that group too, called the Almanac Singers. Good tea. I had to switch from whiskey to tea, which was kind of hard in a way, because tea didn't have some of the qualities that I was looking for. But it's more for the long run. Philadelphia Lawyer, so that indicating. This is a song about a Philadelphia lawyer who fell in love with a cowboy's wife in Reno, Nevada, and it was a hit record for a while. In fact, Tennessee Ernie Ford told me that his first hit record was that song, and it was also a big hit record by another California group of hillbilly singers. Shoot, I can't think of the name right now. It's in that memory cell. It might come to the surface. I might have to do a headstand to get it done. But here's the song anyway, Philadelphia Lawyer. Way out in Reno, Nevada, where the romance blooms and fades, a great Philadelphia lawyer in love with a Hollywood maid. Come love and we will wander down where their lives are so bright. All we knew, divorce from your husband, and we can get married tonight. Wild Bill was a gun-toting cowboy, 10 notches carved on his gun, and all of the boys around Reno left Wild Bill darling alone. One night, as Bill was returning from riding the range in the cold, he thought of his Hollywood darling. Her love was as lasting as gold. Well, the night was as still as the desert, and the moon hanging high overhead. Bill listened a while at the window. He could hear every word that was said. Your hands are so pretty and lovely. Your form is so rare and divine. Come go back with me to Philadelphia and leave this wild cowboy behind. Well, tonight back in old Pennsylvania, amongst her beautiful pines, there's one less Philadelphia lawyer in old Philadelphia tonight. Here's one by Mr. Dillon himself. But it fits right into this previous one. A segue, if you will. Close your eyes, close the door. You don't have to worry anymore. I'll be yours, baby, tonight. Shut the light, shut the shade. You don't have to be afraid. I'll be yours, baby, tonight. That mockingbird's gonna sail away. We're going to let it. Big round moon's gonna shine like a spoon. We're gonna let it. You can't regret it. Kick your shoes off. Do not fear. Bring that bottle here. I'll be yours, baby, tonight. Baby, tonight. Here's another good blues. This is learned it off a record of Bessie Smith. It's called The Mean Old Bedbug Blues. Is that the way it goes?
Yeah.
bugs is mean and evil. They sure don't mean me no good. Fate is a woodpecker out. I'm a chunk of wood. Bedbugs is mean. Bedbugs as big as a jackass will bite you and stand and grin. Bedbugs as big as a jackass bite you and stand and grin. Run off in a corner, come back and bite you again. I heard a noise in the corner. I went and see. I heard a noise in the corner. I went and see. It was a bedbug mother praying, oh Lord, give me some more to eat. Bedbugs is mean and evil. It sure don't mean me no good. Bedbugs is mean and evil. It sure don't mean me no good. Fate is a woodpecker and I'm a chunk of wood.
Woo!
Some of Jack's stuff is very free form. I just need to stay out of your way. That's really good, man.
Like that, I was changing the rhythm a little bit there.
I like that, man.
It makes you, you may need another cup of coffee before we get through.
I'll bring that set of bongos you wanted to bring us.
Wow. Might have to get a bus. I like driving buses anyway. I've only driven 2 buses, but they were pretty interesting. They don't handle like a truck at all. It's a whole different kind of animal. I drove one bus on the Rolling Thunder Review. I only drove it for one day. It was Frank Zappa's bus. He loaned it to Bob, and the driver let me drive it for a little ways. And it was kind of fun. There was a lot of traffic though on one of those East Coast freeways. I-95, terrible traffic, going up through New England. The other bus was, I don't know who owned it, but I think it was the owner who was driving it and let me drive it after a while. We were going down to Dallas for a big guitar pull with Eric Clapton, and about 600 people were in that show. And it lasted a couple of days in Dallas in a big baseball arena. And got to say hello to Eric and some of the people there, and it was a lot of fun. But the biggest fun for me was driving that bus. I drove it all the way from
Big Spring, Texas to Fort Worth, about 200 miles. And passing a semi is really interesting. You have to kind of have a sense of, it's like learning to dance the tango. It's something to do with the wind pressure and the suction of the two big flat surfaces blowing past one another at about 70 miles an hour in the slow lane on a Texas freeway. But kept it on the road. There's only 2 buses. And it's not like driving a semi. Eat mama blues. Mule Skinner blues.
Oh, who's anybody
Right,
see?
whiskey. Oh, we don't want any whiskey.
Anybody see Bob? He sat in with Bob Weir at the Greek Theater. Did Mule Skinner blues? Everyone look it up on YouTube. It's a long version. It's kind of the Grateful Dead kind of version. It's like 20 minutes. When you sang Mule Skinner blues with Bobby Weir at the Greek Theater.
That was outdoors, but it was we blew the roof off of that thing. I mean, if it had a roof, we'd have blown it off. It was the Greek Theater.
It's kind of cold, so Jack had to, so some woman lent Jack her jacket, and it was this long black woman's coat. But from a distance in the film, he looked like Johnny Cash. It was black and down the hair, and had a black hat on.
Oh, I remember.
It looked good.
Hope she got the coat back. It's a cold day. Wherever you are, thank you, ma'am. I hitchhiked up to LA, up from LA to San Francisco one time to see Pete Seeger. He was playing in a little store in Sausalito, and it must have been a long hitchhiking trip, and I fell asleep in about the second song, and I woke up toward the end of his show. He was doing an African tune called Abiyoyo, and that woke me right up. It was a wonderful, wonderful song, and I was glad I was there. And Pete told me that I should go across to Oakland High School the next day. He wasn't able to go, but he had to go somewhere else, but he told me to check out a blues band that was playing over there, somebody from Kansas. But I went over there to the high school, and that blues band was pretty good, but they had an unannounced guest on the program who was way better than anything I'd ever heard. His name was Jesse Fuller. He was a one-man band. He played 5 instruments at one time, He had a 12-string guitar, harmonica, kazoo with a rack, foot-operated cymbals, and a foot-operated 5-string bass that he called a fudella. And he sang this song called the San Francisco Bay Blues, which I'm going to try to attempt here in a minute. I got to do a tour of England with Jesse, and we were walking down the street, and he carrying his 12-string guitar in a case over his shoulder, his right shoulder. And we were about to step off the curb in Charing Cross Road. And the traffic is coming from the wrong way in England, and he's looking for the cars left, and then he couldn't see anything on the right side because the big guitar case on his shoulder. And I reached out and grabbed him by the elbow. I said, "Look out, Jesse, that car almost hit you." He says, "That's okay, I got insurance." I got the blues from my baby living by the San Francisco Bay. Ocean liner, she gone so far away. Didn't mean to treat her so bad. Best gal I ever have had. Said goodbye, like to make me cry. I wanna lay down and die. Haven't got a nickel, ain't got a lousy dime.
live a while in another city, just about to go insane. Sound like I heard my baby the way she used to call my name. Never come back to stay, spend another brand new day, walking with my baby, talking with my baby, riding, gliding, driving, sliding, talking with my baby down by the sand. Friend, Frisco Bay.
Hammer Jack Elliott, brother.